Hello. Welcome. I think I'm working. Hopefully. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world today. My name is Axel, if you don't already know from Get Speaking English. We're gonna do a crossword today. So great. So we're gonna do the crossword here on the screen, just like the video said. I am going to direct this conversation. I'm gonna let you know what question we're going to work on when. I'm going to give you additional tips, hints, clues, descriptions, pictures, all sorts of jazz to help you figure out the answer right along with me. If you think you know what an answer is, you can put it in the chat, and then once I see an answer in the chat, I will go ahead, I will put it up on the board, and we will figure out, we will complete the crossword that way. So hello Art Graphic, hello Steven, welcome back. Yeah, I'm finally back. Wednesday has arrived. I hope you had a good weekend. I know it's middle of the week already, but I hope the start of your week has been really good and you had a good weekend. Just a little reminder, just to keep this activities ordered and structured and make sure everything goes smoothly. We are going to work on the question that I decide that we are going to work on. So please do not skip ahead. Do not start talking about questions we haven't discussed yet. If I see people doing that, I may be prompted to sort of mute you for a while or potentially even block you or something. Let's also be kind to each other as well, so we are not going to make fun of one another if people make mistakes. This is going to be a positive learning environment, so I also want everybody to be nice to one another, please and thank you. So let's keep it civil. And let's stay with me. So I did look at this crossword earlier a little bit. I don't think it's that bad. I'm kind of, it's okay. Sometimes the crosswords seem really good. Pretty decent. There is nothing super exciting about this one, but I think we'll be able to do it. Yeah, I think we'll be able to do it. So let's start with this one. Let's start with an easy one. This June honoree. And we can see the word, like, so we have honoree. We can see the word honor in here, which, like, to honor someone. I say I'm Canadian, so I'm giving it the Canadian. We use British spelling, but to honor somebody it means to basically sort of pay tribute to them. Maybe they are a really great person, and so you do things to sort of celebrate them, basically. So an honoree is a person who is being celebrated. Person being celebrated or a person being honored, right? Until this crossword, some word never seen before. Yeah, you've been discovering some new words. That's really great. Yeah, that's good. That is the whole point of this crossword. Discover some new words we haven't seen before. Some of the words in here are pretty rare as well too. And Dad is going to be our honoree. So Father's Day, right? Is in June, exactly. And we have Mother's Day coming up, at least in this part of the world. I know that Mother's Day is not universal. I'm not sure about Father's Day either, actually. In your country, is there Father's Day in June? Let me know. And let me know if Mother's Day is in May, because we have Mother's Day. I know some countries do, but not all countries have it. Anyways, yeah. Father's Day. So Dad. Let's see here. What else we have here? Try to see which ones we can get here. You know, we might know this word. Maybe not quite. Let's do this one. This is a little geography thing. Part of a river. This is these sections here, so it's plural. This is one across. Starts with a D. These are sections at the mouth of a river where maybe the river is sort of divided and it kind of creates some almost like little islands or something where it kind of meets with the ocean. I'm gonna get a picture here of what we're talking about. What are these things? My country, Father's Day is in June. Okay, all right, perfect. Yeah. Where are you? By the way, I should ask. I'm in Canada. So, looking for the name of one of these things though. So these areas at the end, sort of at the mouth of the river, at the end of the river, where it goes into the ocean. And you can see here that it's created all these almost little islands or something. So we're looking for a name for this little feature that happens when the river connects into the ocean. These are deltas. We're so close with the spelling here. D-E-L-T-A-S. Deltas. So let's put that in here. Yeah, so this is a delta. Cambodia. Okay, fantastic. Nice. Awesome. And you said your home country. So are you living in Cambodia right now? Or are you living someplace else? Let's see what else we can do here. Fine. Point, Tibet setting. Let's do this one. Actually, this will be really, I think this would be really easy. A setting here, setting. Sometimes we use setting to mean location. Basically the setting of something. We'll talk about maybe, you know, what was the setting of a film or setting of a novel. We mean the location. So we need here the location as well. And Tibet, obviously a country located in someplace. The third year's of graphic design. Fantastic. Nice. Very awesome. So great. I also have an interest in the arts. I used to do a lot of like drawing and painting back in the day. These days, some drawing. When I'm not teaching and doing other things. But a place where Tibet can be found. Looking for a place where Tibet can be found. 5 down. That's what we're looking for. Or at least what we're talking about. I think we're looking for the name of a continent here. Right, we got like 7 continents on Earth, right? And I think Tibet is located in one of them. Obviously, I think we're looking for the name of that continent. Another geography. A little question. Tibet. If you're not sure where Tibet is, this is Tibet close to sort of like Nepal, sort of India, China, that region, in around the Himalayas. My geography is not amazing, but around there. So I think the name of this continent, it's part of Asia. I'm gonna put Asia in here. I'll pop that in here. Asia. Just so we get more information, I think. And let's see if we do this one. So this one here, so hawk. So a hawk usually we know a hawk as a bird, one of those really large birds of prey. I don't get a picture of what exactly a hawk is. So this typically is a hawk, what we think of first, like when we come across hawk. But this is not how we're using this word here. We're actually using this word here as a verb to start with. So to hawk something basically means to kind of like steal something and then give it to somebody else for money. You'll hear people about, you know, like to hawk tickets to an event. Basically what scalpers will do. Those are people who buy tickets and then they will basically exchange them for money and get more money for them than what they originally paid for. So sell is going to be another sort of a way to say that. So if you hawk something, you sell it. Very informal, super informal, but that's what it means to hawk something. And then we get some information here. I think we'll be able to do this. I hope maybe a fine point, 13 across. We might typically think of a fine point sort of like the end of a pencil, but I think here we are talking about maybe like points as in maybe sort of like elements of a project or something like that. Maybe like the finer the elements of a project or plan, maybe something like that. You know, you like think about something holistically as a whole, right? But then maybe you might, there's like all these little individual little pieces of important information that might be important. I think that is kind of the type of word that we're looking for here. So I should say maybe a finer element of a project or plan. You know, important information maybe, or important part, or an important part. Almost like the opposite of something sort of like really like looking at everything as like a whole, right? But then you look at everything and it's like it's finer little individual parts. I'll give you a hint. There's a T in this. There is a T in this word. I'm gonna put a T here. There. And by the way, if you are, so I know that I'm live right now on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. If you happen to be over on Facebook or Twitch and you would like to play, you are welcome to come over on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube. It is faster there. So finer point, or the sort of an element of a project or plan. I think this word is going to be detail, actually. We would basically break things down into finer details. So D-E-T-A-L, finer element of a project. So the finer details. So sort of the more important parts there. All right, let's see what else here. So to rent out. So if you rent out something, it means basically you let somebody usually live in a place for a determined period of time. So for example, you would rent an apartment typically, maybe, or like maybe like to rent a house, something like that. Usually some place that you live in, right? And then there is a verb that we use for this as well. You will see these all the time on in ads for apartment rentals and things of that nature. So if you think you know what it is, put it in the chat. Yeah, here's the official definition of this word: to allow your house or land to be lived in or used by someone else in exchange for regular payment. Yes, specifically talking about houses or some sort of facility, something typically. I think this one is going to be let. You would let your apartment or let your house to somebody. I'm gonna put this in a sentence so we can see how we might use this word. So she has a room to let in her house. So she has a room to rent out in her house. We can see the phrasal verb here too, right? This out part here. What else here? Another example. So he's let his flat to a young couple. So again, there he's rented his flat to a young couple. We can see here too, it's sort of like a regular verb as well, to let. This one doesn't change in the conjugations. Anyways, moving on. Let's do 11 across here. If you are reluctant to do something, if you are reluctant to do something, you don't really want to do it. All right, you don't really want to do it. You're sort of doing it maybe against your will. But you really don't want to do it. You think it is a really bad idea. So we are looking for another, here, this is an adjective, basically, to be something, to something, as in you think it's a really bad idea. So looking for an adjective that means you are, really kind of against doing something. So you think you happen to know what that is? Put it in the chat. And I'll add it here. Give another little hint. There's an R in here. If you happen to know what this one is, let me know. Don't be shy. I love when people participate. I love when it goes really fast, actually. I love when this happens really quickly. Anyways, if you are reluctant against doing something, you might be averse to doing it. So averse. Let me put this in a sentence, maybe. Let's see. Let's see if we can get an official definition for this word. Yes, just strongly disliking or opposed to something. That's what it means to be averse to something. Here it is in an example sentence. A few people are averse to the idea of a free holiday. So as in, so few people as in not many people. A difference from a few people, right? Few people, not many, or very, not a lot of people. So sort of like a positive, or sorry, negative, I should say, versus like a few people, sort of more like a positive. So few people, a negative, are averse to the idea of a free holiday. So not many people are against a holiday. So that's how we might use that word there. You are averse to something. And moving on. Let's see what else we have going on here. Not sure what that one is. watch reading, something we would look at your watch and get. Watch reading. So if you read your watch, you are probably looking for a specific type of information. The type of information your watch would tell you. Give an idea as to what kind of information you would get off of your watch. If we're not sure what the watch is, I will put it in the chat. Here we go. One of those little devices goes on the wrist. The wrist being this part of our body here, where the arm connects to the hand. One of these guys here, and you would look at one of these to get the time, right? So let's pop that right in here. Pop it right in there and keep going on. All right, what else do we got here? So prunes, column style, wrong, ones with powers. All right, let's do this one. Prunes. Another kind of tricky one, because I think usually we think of a prune. It's usually a fruit, right? Here are typically what we might think of as prunes. So these are prunes. This isn't what we're talking about though. This is a different use of this word here. This is actually to prune something. We're using this as a verb actually. It's going to be conjugated. And what would you prune? You usually prune bushes, for example, or hedges. So it's like a landscaping verb, okay? So I'm gonna like get a picture of maybe somebody pruning a hedge so we can see exactly what is happening. Here we go. You see this person here. They are, well, in this image, they are pruning the hedge. They are cutting off sort of parts of the hedge, parts of this bush, in order to shape it. Here's maybe a better picture of a person pruning a hedge. So there's another verb we might use. Basically, that means the cuts the hedge. Basically. Cuts the hedge. So looking for another verb we might use for basically almost like trimming off the excess of something. We would also use this verb for hair, for example. If we were gonna like cut off the edges or cut off the ends of your hair, we are also going to use this verb as well. For cutting here, when you only remove the ends of the hair, basically just to fix up the hair, tidy it up a little bit, make it look a little bit neater. So cuts the hedge or cuts the hair just a little bit, make it a little bit more tidier. So trims, I think, is going to be our verb here. Put that right in here. So trims, and perfect. So let's see what else we got going on here. What the wrong address? I'm the author. I know what this is, but I don't think we're gonna know. That'd be nice though if we do. We could do this one though, maybe. A French word though. So if you happen to know any French here, the French word for king, basically king of France. So we're looking for the French word for king. French word for king. Happen to know what that one is? Pop it in the chat. I'll give it a minute, and if not, I will pop it in really quickly. A 23 across. A French word. French word for king. Basically what we were looking for. I'll give you a hint. Ends in an I. There's an I in this word. I believe. I hope. I hope I'm right. I'm sure. I'm confident. I know what it is. French word for king. Roy. I don't know if I said that right actually. But my French is not that great. But Roy. French word for king. And what else we got here? Ones with power. I'm trying to see if there's like maybe a little bit of an easier one. What in the wrong? Let's maybe go down here, actually. We're gonna go down to the bottom, I think. Maybe. See if we get more information. So we can do this long one. We are going to do them in the order I say. So do not skip ahead, please and thank you. We will come back here. But let's do this one. This 38 down. This noshed. What the heck does it mean to nosh something? If you nosh on something. So 38 down. If you nosh on something. It kind of means to like chew on something. You chew or basically graze something. You kind of like are consuming bits of food and things like that. This is a food word. We're basically looking for another word related to food, related to consuming food. Another word, yeah, related to consuming food here. I appreciate you deleting your message. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. 8, exactly. 8 is going to be noshed here. So, nosh, by the way, very informal. In fact, people don't really use nosh these days. I think that nosh is very outdated. I don't remember the last time I've heard somebody say that they were noshing on something. But, so I don't recommend using this. Very outdated and very informal. That's what it means. But noshed here. But here is a slang that actually people will use very commonly. 45 across. Pills in slang, right? So pills, what do I mean by pills? Those little things that you ingest. Maybe you get from the doctor. Right, and we're looking for a, here we go, here are some pills you might get from the doctor. If you have some sort of ailment, some sort of illness. And there is a slang, sort of short way, very informal way we might refer to these with. So, there's an S in here. I will add an S here. There we go. Put that in there. So basically, a very informal way to refer to drugs, right? You know, in a long form, we might refer to these as, you know, medications, right? For example, I can't spell medications or medicine, right? Something like that. But then there's another way. People would usually refer to it this way. A really quick hit meds. There we go. Now I see it. Meds, exactly. People would refer to it as meds. And this slang is a lot more common. People will use that, definitely. So people will say meds, people will not say noshed. Not very commonly, at least I never hear it. What else we got here? Poorly lit. Poorly lit. So lit here, right? Past participle of light, right? Right? Light. Or actually lit. I guess like also the past form as well. But here we're using it as an adjective, so past participle. Poorly lit. If something is poorly lit, there is not a lot of light. So not a lot of light, basically. Looking for a word. If there is not a lot of light. Get a picture maybe of what this might look like in reality. Here we go. I would definitely say that this room is not very well lit whatsoever. And we might say that this light is whatever this adjective is, because it is not bright at all. Yes, not giving or having much light is there. Oops, is our official definition. Basically the opposite of having a lot of light. So obviously not dark. Although it is definitely dark. We're looking for like a bit of a better word to describe what this is. It starts with a D. I'm gonna put a D in here. That helps. There is a D in here. Might be. I'll give it a few more seconds and I'm gonna pop it in. Not dark. I'm trying to think of other words. Dank, maybe. Also dank, sort of combination of whatever this word is and being really cold as well. Dim is our word, exactly. So dim, not very bright at all. We can say that this room is rather dim, but more like the this lamp is dim, gives off a very dim light. So, or a dimly lit room. So, dim we would usually use to refer to the light source, typically. But we could also use it for like a sort of a dark area. Here we go. We sat in a dim corner of the waiting room, so in a very poorly lit, sort of darker part of the waiting room. Article. Almost like an object, right? So, article, usually we use article to refer to an article of clothing, right? So a piece of clothing, right? Like a shirt, maybe a pair of pants, something like that. But we could also use article just to refer to stuff, you know, gather all your articles and get out of here. basically saying, you know, gather all your things and get out of here. So we're looking for another word that is good for describing stuff, basically. And notice how I said stuff and not stuffs, because sometimes I hear people say this. And that is wrong. Stuff is always uncountable. Anyways, item, exactly. Put item in here. Put item in here. Gather all your items and get out of here. Or an item of clothing, we say. As well, we can totally say. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Prepares broccoli. What are we gonna do with broccoli? This is like a common cooking method for broccoli. Common cooking method for broccoli. I think that's what we're looking for. Broccoli, if you don't know, it is a vegetable. I'm gonna get an image of broccoli, and there's typically kind of like one way, at least in particular here, that people will make broccoli. Because I find that Canadians aren't very good at cooking. But there's a way that they will prepare broccoli. So this is broccoli here. Basically cooks over basically boiling water. You know, you would put the broccoli in a pot, maybe a little bit of water underneath it, and then you would let the water, you would heat the water to a boil, right? That water will evaporate, create this mist almost inside the pot, and then they're gonna cook the broccoli that way. So basically, yeah, whatever that is gonna be. Exactly, that process is steaming. They would steam their broccoli. So we're gonna, so steams here is what we're gonna do. So that's typically what people do when they prepare broccoli. I actually like to roast my broccoli. Put like a little bit of olive oil on it, maybe some like salts and stuff like that, and then roast it. I'm not a big fan of steamed broccoli or boiled. Oh, my mom will boil it. It's not good. Anyway. What else do we have in here? Convenes. Convenes. What the heck does convene? If two things convene, it means they see one another, or they kind of get together, basically. Convenes. If something convenes, or I should say if two things convene, they come in contact with one another. You might convene for a meeting or something like that. So we're basically looking for another word. Something about that. Basically, or something. It's kind of like a you know, a conference or something. We would use this for, like, you know, political meetings and things like that. Here, these people, here's a bunch of people, and they are convening together. They've gotten together. So looking for another, basically gathers. Or something like that, basically. So gathers together. 24 down, by the way. That is what we are thinking about right now. Starts with an M. I'm gonna put an M in here. Put that here. think this one is going to be maybe a conference, something like that. Very formal word. All right. Anywho, moving on. Let's do this one. Maybe a roadhouse. Roadhouse. Looking for, maybe a place along the highway. A place, a building, or a place along the highway where maybe you would stop for a night. Maybe sleep. And get something to eat, maybe. Sort of like a travel destination. Kind of similar to a hotel, maybe. Something like that. So some place where you might stop and rest, basically. I guess we're going to stop and rest. That is 25 down. I think you happen to know. So place along the highway. Not always along the highway, but, or maybe like in a town, I guess, as well. But the key thing is that you can usually sleep there, possibly eat there. Starts with an I. I'm gonna put an I in here. Put an I in here. Put an I in here. Give it a couple more seconds, and then I am going to pop it in here. This is going to be an inn. So an inn. Place that we might stop for a night. Get something to eat, hang out for a little bit. And let's keep going. There's a lot of words in here with a specific suffix, actually. I haven't really talked about it yet, but I guess we're going to talk about it now. 29 across! 29 across! M something something. M something something. S-E-N something. So we have here, put the wrong address on. Put the wrong address on. So the address, your information on an envelope, basically, or maybe a parcel. So basically, whatever this is, this clue is about mailing. This clue is about mailing stuff. So we're looking for a verb here. That basically means mailed to the wrong place, basically, right? So we're kind of looking for a combination here. One, we're looking for a prefix that indicates making an error. So a prefix about making errors. All right, and then we're looking for our main verb about mailing stuff. So mailing stuff. And again, we are going to stay with me, so I don't want to see your 24A. But miss sent is what it is. So mistake, missent, misused, common prefix for making an error, basically. So sent. Gonna pop that in there. And similarly, now this one as well. This one also has the prefix as well too. But here, put in the wrong pile. M-I something. Something, something, something. so put in the wrong pile. Here, I think we're talking about organizing, taking things and then organizing them by type, separating them by type. Separated. So basically the verb. Separated by type. The verb means separated by type, and then again we obviously have this prefix as well here. So miss something. So if you think you know a verb that means to separate things by type or category, let me know. Let me know. You do that. I'm going to looking for something really quickly. Mis-sorted, exactly. To sort things means to put them into different categories or by types or whatever. So mis-sorted. Awesome. Here we go. All right. And I know you said ins earlier. I did see it. Ones with power. We might talk about people either being the ins or the outs. And this column style is an ionic column, which I don't expect anybody to know at all. So I'm just going to type it in there. What else do we have here? Quit. When you leave your job, very formal. Formal verb, a formal verb that means to leave your job, or rather to quit your job. Something that we would say. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's formal. The proper way. To refer to this. So you would resign from your job, or from a job, exactly, or a position. Step down is another way as well, to step down. Although that would be more like maybe not, you don't quit the thing entirely, but you might step down from a position, give it to somebody else. You'd still work there. Anyways, resign. Put that in here. Hello, Sword, welcome. Welcome. It's good to see you back. I hope you're doing well. Contest form. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see this one. This farm animal. It's got horns and stuff. Kind of similar, almost like a sheep, sort of. Take a picture of what this might be. I think we're looking for this one. One of these guys, whatever the heck this is, this animal. I hope the start of your week has been going well, Sword. I know mine has been going alright. So whatever this animal is, this farm animal, if you think you happen to know what it is. And then I will put it in here. Here where I am, we don't actually have a lot of these. It's not common to farm these. Although I've known people with these as pets. Goat, exactly. This is gonna be a goat. Let's put that in here. And see what else we can figure out. Let's just go through these. See. Yeah, let's do this one maybe. Opponent. Opponent. Somebody who is your rival. It looks like a cow. Yeah, they kind of look like cows, sort of. They're small, though. Definitely small. Just thiggly, though, like a brown cow. I know, it's like a little brown cow, right? But an opponent. Your opponent is someone who is against you. Maybe in a competition or something like that. But we're looking for another word as well for basically another word for opponent or even rival. So again, rival, maybe like an enemy, somebody against you. Little 3-letter word there. Or somebody who might be against you. Foe, welcome, Hansa. Welcome. It's so great to see you. Really appreciate you putting that in the chat for us. And welcome. Hope you're doing really well, foes. Let's put that in here. Just trying to get us. I'm trying to get us more information here. Because I don't think we're gonna know what this is. But this is these basic themes. This might be a curious one though. This word here comes up in design sometimes. Designs or music as well too. So music words. These are basically little themes or elements that pop up throughout a piece. Like through a work of art or something. Throughout a piece. Like a work of art or music. Or design. That basically are used to bring everything together. I gotta get an official definition, actually. See what comes up. Yeah, kind of like a design or a pattern, maybe. Design or pattern. I was a music nerd, so I also know it from music. But, yeah. Usually like an idea that appears repeatedly in the works of an artist or a piece of writing or music. So interesting. Little word here. These are motives, exactly. A motive also for design as well. So pattern or design. So here we go. In a sentence, we show some curtains with a flower motive, with a flower design, sort of to tie everything together. Interesting little word there. Yeah, that's a great one. Some motives. What else we got here? Contest form. Let's do 33 down. So a motive. These are designs or patterns that are sort of repeated throughout something, kind of to tie things, to sort of make everything sort of tie together. So basically like a pattern. So here's kind of this one here kind of has this these triangle motives going on, sort of deal. Or this one kind of has like a floral motive going on, a pattern repeated. And in music, it might be like a small little musical melody or something that pops up repeatedly in like an orchestral piece or something. Yeah. So those are motives. But 33 down, our contest form. Let's look for a contest form. Basically a piece of paper. Basically a form piece of paper you'd complete to say that you want to participate in a competition or contest. So the type of form you might initially fill out, almost like your initial application. But we wouldn't say you wouldn't apply for a contest. There's a different verb that we would say for a contest. Entry, an entry form, exactly. You would enter a contest. And oddly enough, you would step down from a contest, typically. You wouldn't really, I mean, you wouldn't really leave a contest, but yeah. You would step down or step out. Bow out. Ooh, you would bow out from a contest. Entry, anyways. Put that in here. Awesome, awesome. And what else do we have here? We might know this one. I don't know. This is kind of an old-fashioned word. Very old-fashioned word for a sitting room, like a living room. Very kind of an outdated, old-fashioned word for basically living room. Basically, we might know this one. I don't know. This one might be a little bit tricky. Old-fashioned word for living room. You would really say that these days. But you probably will hear it in sort of the TV shows or novels and things like that that are sort of historical or take place a long time ago. Parlor, exactly, the parlor. So let's put parlor in here. Great job. Thanks so much. And again, I wouldn't really use this, but you might hear it in certain contexts, and that's what we mean, basically a place where you might sit. There's no TV though. There's usually a TV with a living room these days. And let's just do this one. So under the weather. If you're feeling under the weather, you are not feeling very well at all. You are not feeling well at all. So you are going to be, whatever this is, not good. So 40 down. Another way, ill, exactly. You're on a roll. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I'm thinking we are not. These little rascals here. This is also a very uncommon word here. Nobody would say this, but an imp. They love this in the crossword. People don't say that though. And last year's juniors, probably seniors. So I'll put seniors in here because the S is here. All right. Finishes. Let's do 33 across. Finishes. 33 across. E something something. So finishes basically gets over, right? Basically, something gets over or finishes. Maybe like an event. I think we're talking about an event here. I think. Ends. Exactly. Thank you so much. Ends. So let's pop that in here. Exactly. Notice here too, I said gets over. Another great phrasal verb to refer to something gets finished as well. Gets over. Meaning it's done. Brandish. Just give me a second here. I'm thinking. Let's do this one. I think 28 across. 28 across. Casserole. So casserole is a food item. And we're looking for like a little something we might find in a casserole. I'm going to show you what a casserole is. It's kind of a cross between, well, it's something you would bake in the oven. This is a casserole. We can see it here. It's kind of like made in this, it's a casserole dish. It was baked in the oven. And I think we're looking for, there are some common vegetables, little green ones, little green vegetables, a little round green vegetable you may find in a casserole. Exactly, a pea. I think that's going to be a pea. A common casserole item. And now let's do this one, actually, because this, I think, might be interesting. You would brandish, so you would brandish a weapon. That means that you would hold it kind of in a threatening way. Like you're holding it in a way like you're maybe ready for an attack. So we're kind of looking for another word as well that we might use with weapons if you are holding, to wield, to hold a weapon in a threatening way, basically. I hate peas because I read about this in biology. Oh, I don't know what that is. Is it interesting though? Like, should I look it up? Feel free to give us a summary, sort of what that is, because I'm kind of curious. But a word for holding weapons in a threatening way. Wield, exactly. You would wield a knife, wield a sword, for example. Oops. Sorry. There we go. I think we can see this, right? Okay, there we go. Wield. There we go. You would wield a knife, wield a weapon. Usually a blade. You would wield a blade. You wouldn't wield a gun, for example, but you would wield a blade. I don't know why I did that. There you go. Wield a blade. Like a knife or something. Great job. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see what else we can get here. We'll know this one because we are English learners. We love English. We know English super well. A lot of people, normal English speakers, wouldn't necessarily know this word unless they know English pronunciation, the names of all the little letters and things like that. The name of our unstressed vowel. You know the one that I'm talking about. The like, like the sound, kind of. This guy, our unstressed vowel. In English. 20 across. Do you remember the name of this one? It's gonna be a schwa, exactly. The dreaded schwa. Awesome though. Exactly. That's easy for us though, because we are English masters. We have been studying. There you go. We got our schwa. And then let's do this one now. 24 across. 24 across. So pronounced wrong. So earlier we were going through some different words that all have a prefix. This has a prefix. That means to make an error. And then something about pronouncing things. So a prefix, that means to make an error. And then a verb about, I'm gonna say speaking, maybe. Something like that. Something about talking here. So I think you have an idea. But in here, I think exactly. Said, you miss-say something, you misspeak. Maybe I misspoke. I made a mistake. Put that in here. Missaid. Perfect. What is this one here? Shade tree. One of the really, this is a really big one. I got a picture of this tree. I mean, not that, I don't know if that will help. But a big deciduous tree. Deciduous trees are the ones that lose their leaves in winter. We're looking for the name of one of these things. 31 across. The name of whatever this tree is. Usually pretty big, usually pretty old. I always feel like it's easier to identify them with their leaves. Here's a leaf. One of these trees here. It's gonna be an elm tree. Are elms common in your country? Here we have some elm trees. I know they're not everywhere, but maybe they are. I don't know. I feel like there's elms in many different countries, but anyways, let me know if there are elm trees where you are. Let me know if there are elm trees where you live, and while you are thinking about this one, this useful ability, 16 down, useful ability. We might talk about this when talking about you know, maybe doing a job application or something like that. People might want to know what sort of strengths, what great characteristics, great abilities you might bring to a position. Basically, good strength or ability you have. Basically, something that you're really good at. Something you have that is valuable. We could also use this word for things that we own as well too. So if you own things, maybe like a property, like a house or something like that, those things are also sort of valuable things that you have that sort of build your wealth, make you I don't know, I guess better in some way. It's a really bad way to explain it, but it's a good quality, a good thing to have. So looking for another word about something that's really, something you have that's really good, really valuable. In this case, they're talking about an ability, but could also be something that you own, that you possess, and maybe will appreciate over time, as in the value will go up over time. An asset. I'm gonna have an asset. Put that in here. All of your valuable assets. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Try to remember what this is. Oh, you know what this word is vestige. A vestige. I was thinking vestige, but it's vestige. Vestige of something. And if something has a vestige of something, it has a very, very, very small part of something. So vestige, the pronunciation. Vestige. It doesn't look like it, but that's what that is. Vestige. Very small part of something that remains from something else. Okay, so small part of something larger, maybe more important. But here we go, in a sentence, so we can see how this was used. These old buildings are the last vestiges of a colonial past. So they are the last sort of remaining things that indicate this thing. Or here's another, we might say that there's a vestige of something. There is now no vestige of hope that the missing children will be found alive. This is really depressing, but there's nothing that indicates that this is left. So we're looking for another word that might mean that there is like a very small element to something remaining. C-T-R-A something. Something that, a small thing that indicates something was there once, basically. Something like that. Yes, a trace of something. If there's a trace of something, just like a little small element that indicates that something larger was there, maybe at one point. So, great one. Great, interesting word. Interesting word. And again, the pronunciation of that, I know is vestige. That's sort of that J sound, or soft G sound. Vestige. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. We're so close. Yeah, let's do this one. This prefix for earth. Prefix for earth. So, for example, you know, in the science of earth, right? We see this prefix here. So this is 10 down, 10 down, by the way. This prefix of earth. Right? So we see it in the science. Also the scientist. Maybe. Also maybe like the study of the earth. Like, the landscapes and things like that. Looking for some sort of prefix that we can put in all of these that refers to the earth. So this is like the study, kind of like the study of minerals, right? Someone who studies minerals, maybe. And maybe like study of like landscapes or like maps and things. Kind of. Something like that. I think you know what it is. This prefix. The prefix is the part that comes out at the beginning of the word to indicate something, as opposed to a suffix that would come at the end. Prefix comes at the beginning. Our little prefix. Gonna give you a hint. This starts with a G. Got a G here. Not in here. I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds and I'm gonna put it in here. This is gonna be geo, so geo for the earth. Go geology, for example. Study of all the minerals, rocks, minerals, gems, that sort of thing. Geologist, the person who would study those minerals, things like that. And then geography, the study maybe landscapes and maps, like the earth, that sort of thing. Geo, exactly. Perfect. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And what else do we have here? Online address. Online address. I think we're looking for, you know, like this, for example. This is the, so that's 9 down, online address. You know, like this, for example. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm on this website. Looking for like a 3-letter acronym, 3-letter abbreviation we might use to refer to an online address like this. Something like that. So this is an example of a, whatever this is. A URL, exactly, a URL. And notice too, I said URL, like we say the letters, it's not URL, but URL. URL, perfect, exactly. Pop that in here. Let's see this bike part really quickly. This is 12 across, bike part. These are the things that move, that rotate. This is a part of the bike. We see everything? Yes, we can. This part of the bike that rotates or spins, right? The bike has 2 of these. And not just the part that rotates, I should say. This is like the outer part of the this is the outer part of the bike that rotates. Of course, there are several parts on the bike that rotates. But it's sort of like that rubbery part, right? The tire, exactly. And notice here too, because this is an American crossword, we're spelling it with an I here. But in British English, they would spell it with a Y. So just to be aware of there is a little bit of a difference there, the spelling of these words, depending on what system you are using. Anyways, yes. Which, by the way, isn't really important. Like if you're taking an exam, like Cambridge, like IELTS, for example, or something, you just have to pick one system to write in and be consistent. So we tend not to switch systems when we are writing in English. We pick one and we stick to it. So so that is what you guys have to do as well. It's in some, I have no idea. Emotional ones. Malformed. So mal here, another interesting prefix, mal here. If something is mal, this also refers to sort of like not well done, basically, or maybe like some like badly done. So something, so here we're looking for another word. I think another word has our suffix, again, about making mistakes. Sorry, suffix has a prefix about making a mistake. And then what do we mean by formed here? I think we're talking about the shape here. H-A-P-E-N. So that's the prefix about making the mistake, and then has some sort of like the verb is about the basically like how, like the shape of something. I don't know which English I speak because I always mess English words. It can be really tricky to be consistent because I know that the vocabulary can be different, right? So yeah, it's kind of interesting because at some point you kind of have to make a decision, right? I'm going to do American English, I'm going to do British English, and then be really consistent with the spelling and the vocabulary, right? Or maybe a different form too, because I know some people, they'll do Australian English as well too. So usually people choose based on where they want to study or where they want to work or where they want to live, and then kind of adapt that way, which is kind of interesting. It's cool that you guys get a choice, actually. I always found that really fascinating. I think it's very cool. But looking for something about a verb about something that maybe had like some sort of mistake in the way that it was like put together or something, or maybe constructed, something like that. I gotta see if maybe I can get a visual. Here we go. This is a funny one. The strawberry has a very unusual look. It has a bit of a like a deformity, almost like that. Another word for maybe like having that weird malformed shape, a deformity. Misshapen, exactly. It is misshapen. Misshapen. Pass. There we go. So misshapen. Okay, cool. And we're so close. Self-satisfied. So satisfied. This is kind of like a look. Well, you get like if you are like very. This isn't a positive word. This isn't a positive word, but yeah, if you're very like pleased with yourself, if you are very pleased with yourself, about having achieved something, but there's a negative connotation with this verb. Like we don't usually use it in a positive way. A strawberry with a disease. I don't know if it has a disease. It just looks like it was maybe, oops, like had some sort of problem when it was growing or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. But you know how sometimes things kind of grow up. They grow with sort of like a weird, weird shape or something. But yeah, you're like pleased. Pleased with something. Smug. Yeah, I think smug is gonna be exactly. Like you're like pretty proud. They like don't be so smug. They're very smug about it. Let's put this here. I don't know if we're gonna get this one. So, unemotional ones. Although I see this in like pop culture all the time these days. It's kind of like a philosophy word. You know, like there's like this it's like a philosophy almost of like experiencing pain or things like that, but without showing your emotions. So, what is it? Basically, it's like based on a philosophy. I don't know a lot, but ooh. But yeah, these people are like, you know, they'll experience pain, trouble, and things like that, but they won't show any emotions or anything like that. And then these are sort of like the people that practice this. So, a person that practices basically this philosophy almost. So people who don't show their emotions or anything like that. Stoics, exactly. Let's put Stoics in here. And we did it! Great job, everybody. Awesome job. Thanks so much for your help. I knew we would get through it. So super cool. Really appreciate it. I will be back this time on Friday for another crossword. So this same time on Friday, 1300 UTC. So I hope you're going to come back and help me do that crossword. And yeah, I'm trying to think if I need to like advertise or anything like that. If you want to get in touch with me, you could do so directly. By, let's see here. Usually best to email me or send me a message on Telegram. Doing a new series. Oh, I've just released a new article actually. So, so if you don't know, I like to do a lot of article-based conversation classes, and so I just released the next article. It's something about 1 cent paychecks. So basically how actors don't get paid very well at all for the when they do like Netflix episodes and things like that. So it's kind of an interesting article looking at actor pay and streaming services and how they are treated. So if you're interested in that article, you can find it on Telegram. I think I've shared it on Facebook. Also on my website as well. So if you are interested in talking about that with me, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to be here Saturday and I'm going to read it, talk about the vocabulary and everything like that. So I will do a live about that on Saturday, but the next crossword is going to be on Friday. So I hope that you come out and join me for that 1300 UTC. And that's it. I hope you guys have a good evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you are. I hope your day goes really well. And again, thanks so much for your help. And yeah, we'll see you guys all next time. All right, bye everybody.